It's this time and space. It's this here and now. And it's this welcoming and gathering. Giving time and space to welcoming and gathering, to settling. In this particular time and space. This particular here and now. In this experience. And gathering, reconnecting, recollecting. This gift of attention, this receiving of life, this sensitivity in this knowing. The body anchors, the breath reveals its rhythm. Softness in this presence. A sense of well-wishing, welcoming, receiving, and giving. Receiving, accepting, and enjoying life. And the gift of attention is without expectation or hope or fear. It's an appreciation of what is received in this sensitivity. in this time, in this place. This here, this now. Particular and yet universal. We're settling in this sense of safety that can only be found in this time, this place. In this knowing, and this acceptance. The giving of life to life. Gift of attention. Gift of care. Gift of appreciation. In this receiving of however it is, in this sensitivity. In this blessing. Stillness of the body. As the sensitivity is gathered. Reconnected with the whole of the presence of knowing. Alive and alert. Receiving the breath and releasing. appreciating life, and giving life to life. And the confidence to receive it as it is and to relinquish control, fear, worry, anxiety, regret. The knowing of this knowing, impersonal, impersonal, and presence. A breath softly received and gently released. The knowing revealed. and knowing of a here and now, the knowing of a time and place. The only time and place we can know, the only here and now that we can know. And knowing that we don't really know. What we know is so limited in this interpretation that this particular form, when we identify with it, has this limitation. And it's, the reflections that are possible and suggested for us all, for us to have to relate, because this life is about relating. It's about receiving and giving. It's about responding to stimulation. That's the nature of this strange thing called sensitivity in life. And this human business has its own power, its own possibility. And if we're here in something like this, then there's the recognition of the structures and suggestions from the Lord Buddha as best we know, as best we can gather from scraps and of information that has passed down through 2,500 years. And even when they were first explained by the Lord Buddha, he said that they were only a handful of leaves. So nowadays, maybe we have bits of the handful left. We have to work with a handful of leaves from all that he knew from the forest was what he was able to teach, which was enough. He said, for beings to realize the end of suffering, the end of stress, the end of complication, the untangling of the knotted blocks of energy around me and mine, the cooling of the passion and the heat of confusion and neediness and feeling overwhelmed. This was the promise of the handful of leaves as being enough. And in this, for reflecting for our relationship, particularly with this thing that we call this body, and then the other bodies, as a way of using this faculty that humans have, which is thinking. A lot of us come to meditation with the idea of I should stop thinking. I need to stop thinking. I just can't stop thinking. I need to get rid of this thinking. And so, but how to use that to turn on itself so that the reflections to use and uncomplicate the mind. So people suggest mantras, people suggest or meditation objects that you can just concentrate on or something like that, which is all things that one can do. They require that effort and that commitment to that. But the basic one is that, we're getting older. This is the nature of this body, is that it's on a timer that's running down, and every breath is that much. I was at Amaravati recently for a day, really. I hadn't planned to be present for the funeral of George Sharp. And it was an event, the gathering of the people, and many of the people that were gathered there, I had not really met or seen for quite a few years. I hadn't seen them in person for quite a few years. And one of them said to me, looking around at all these people, it's like looking in the mirror and seeing, if they look that old, then how does this one look? It's this, we're all of the nature to age. This is something that this body is not going to go beyond. The going beyond the aging will only be when the body is no longer taken so personally. This is its nature. And that's the first of the 5 reflections, which are really worth remembering, because it's a way of, this one's of the nature of the age, but then also everything else you see, and everybody else you meet, it's the same. We're all the same. This is all something that we share. This is our common ground. It's the bit that we have in common. It's not something wrong either. It's not something that we need to fear. It's just, this is how it is. And that is just it's one untangling of the knot around, I don't want to get old, or I want to be, the kids want to get older sometimes, but the old people want to get younger. It's this not wanting to be involved in this process of aging, which is the complication, the extra complication. And then, visiting my mother, and the fact that as this body gets old, but it's actually all bodies that are subject to this. subject to sickness, subject to some sort of imbalance, some sort of struggle of infection or damage or bruising or cutting or something that is, again, it's the nature of this fragility. It's the miracle of this fragility that it can recover from sickness sometimes. Because the final thing is, of course, that it's going to end. This sense of being somebody independent and having agency and some sort of place and time. This is mine. That, as the body breaks down, will be the death. And the whole, we will lose control. As bodies get older, they do lose control. You just have to be around somebody who's old to recognize that. The capacity to control goes down. We start to creak at the knees and have difficulty getting up. The strength goes. The resilience of the skin goes. The whole thing starts to break down. We have the nature of age, we have the nature to sicken, and with the nature to die. There is no way out. If we, in the identification of this body, this is how it's going to work. And the body is all about this. These first three reflections are all about this. About this thing that we put such store by. And it's the same for all of us, and we all don't like to be, to suffer from this. Every being doesn't like this. It's a natural expression of life to wish to be alive. That's it. That's its nature. And to think, well, it shouldn't be this way. That's why something like, even the old people like my mother, and she says, I'd like to follow the Queen. It's not that the body itself doesn't obey that wish. Because the next reflection is, all that is mine, beloved and pleasing will become separated from me. And this is something to do with, what we give importance to, what we the things that particularly, whatever you think that you own will become separated from you. Either you'll be separated from it or it'll be separated from you. That's just the physical stuff. And then so all the little acts of control that we have around our things, we have to get them into a certain order. We have to make sure that they're all sort of set out as we want them. There's a limitation to that control, because all things will be otherwise, will become separated from us. That's its nature, and that's just the things. Now, the other bits that we feel beloved and pleasing. Maybe the people or the the sons and daughters, husbands, wives, mothers, fathers, aunts, uncles, friends, relatives, relations. All of those will become otherwise, will become separated. And that's, again, it's the nature for everybody, for all of us. It's for all of us. And however much we might not want it to be that way, this is the way that it is. And and then however much we want people to remain, their habits and their faculties to remain the same. However much I might want my mother to still be bright, cheerful, happy and loving, that's going to become otherwise. And even my own faculties, my capacity to speak, my capacity to articulate, my capacity to relate, my capacity to give, all that will become otherwise, will become separated from me. And for all of us, that, whatever power we have to manipulate this world that we live in will become otherwise, will become separated from us. All the good qualities that we think we have, they'll become otherwise, they'll become separated from us. And that's that's the way the faculties work. All of the 22 faculties will become otherwise, will become separated from us. That's all the powers that we have, all the abilities that we have. All of that, it will become otherwise, will become separated, because that's the way that this thing is put together. It's focused around this body, and this body is going to do what this body does, one way or the other. It's not, it follows its own nature. And the focus of this sense of me and mine, however this body is experienced, however this sense of here and now is experienced, this will become otherwise, will become separated. It's peaceful, actually. It's peaceful, this recognition, because it does point to what we do own. Which is, the karma, the power of the human to intend to do things, the power of the human to create causes. This is the magic of the human. This is the power of the human to intend to do something and actually follow that through. By what is thought, what is said, what is done. This is the power that we have. And this is what we own. We are the owners to our karma, heirs to our karma, born of our karma, related to our karma, abide supported by our karma. Whatever karma we shall do, for good or for ill, of that, we will be the heir. That's the power. So being really appreciating that, and that's the reflection that's encouraged. So that, and it's the same for all of us, every being, every human particularly. That's the that's the world that we live in. We live in this karma world, and the way of escape in this world is renunciation. Is actually not just seeking to gratify the senses. It's not seeking to control or gain. This is the way out. This is how the Buddha appears in the human realm. He appears as a renunciant. And for humans, that just taking care over that. It's not rejecting. It's not a rejection of the power. It's really a celebration of the possibility to be free from compulsion, be free from ignorance. The animal instincts and the animal karma and the Asura karma or the God karma or the hell karma has less capacity to reflect, to make that space for suffering to end, the space between reaction and the possibility to give a kind response, which actually allows suffering to end now and in the future, to notice where the stress can end, to notice where the stress does end now. Now, to be with that neutrality. Because the karma that can be created there is the sense of, may all beings be free. May all beings be released. That's the spaciousness that one can give to oneself as the life is received. So not making a problem about things, so that when things go wrong, when you're with somebody who doesn't want to be there, when you're with yourself when you don't want to be there, when you're in situations that you don't particularly like, not making a problem about it and working with the way that things are to just not make a problem about things and appreciating that one doesn't have to. So when things go wrong, you don't get up and make a fuss. Or if you do make a fuss, make sure you're making a fuss because you wish people well. So I'm not saying don't make a fuss ever. Just be a doorstep or a doormat and just be crawled upon and people wipe their feet on you. But actually just allow the thing to end. Allow the space. No, so the sense of well-wishing and the sense of the spaciousness to know that one knows gives the space between reaction and response. No, so the response is, I'm talking about these words as a way of just trying to distinguish between something that's just instinctual and blind, or something that is considered and allowing the intention of may there be less suffering now and in the future, to be conscious, to be alive too, to be sensitive too. And then the blessings of life can flow through life. And it's not, I talk about giving attention. Careful about that too, because I tend to not use the term paying attention, because I think that when people pay, they want something back. And when I sort of talk about giving, I think that people feel more that they have something that they can offer. But in both of those, giving and paying, there's still me doing it. And that's okay. It'll do. But don't take it too seriously, because it's not that I talk about life, blessing life. It's just the blessings of life are impersonal. Actually, that's the way that if humans work well, that's what they do. They reduce stress. That's their function. If they work according to the design manual, or they work according to what they can do. That's their potential. They can also do all sorts of harm, but that's a misuse of the tool that is this particular experience of this particular time and space, this particular conventional reality that we all find ourselves in, which we all share, where we're all brothers and sisters. This is what all humans experience. We are brothers and sisters in old age, sickness, and death. And it's not sad. It's a recognition, and a hopeful recognition, so that when we look at another human being, or see another human being, or perceive another human being in whatever news or whatever stories or whatever, that whoever tries to influence us or amuse us or scare us, and whatever opinions we might have about people, because it's mostly opinions about people that we tend to make problems over, the people that we like, the people we don't like, our relatives, our friends, politicians, the actors, or whomsoever, they're all brothers and sisters. They're all getting older. They're all subject to sickness, and they will all die. Even the Queen. It's not something that anybody's immune to. And that's the way that it is. All that is mine, beloved, and pleasing will become otherwise, will become separated from me. And when the complications and the habits and the whole thing ceases, and the karma is played out, or the karma of realization of the karma that leads to the end of karma that leads to the end of karma, a hosi karma, is the karma that's important. That's the practice of the path. When that's played out, there's peace. There's peace. So maybe that will offer something for reflection, the 5 reflections for us all. May all beings realize, make real the end of suffering. Thank you for your kind attention. And if you have questions, please try cutting and pasting or typing in. And if this has been no use to you, well, you can always turn it off. You don't have to listen to it. Thank you. I wonder who these 4 questions come from. I can't see the top of them at the moment. Oh. When I have to spend a lot of time and energy dealing with work issues, I feel I don't have enough time to practice the Dhamma. And sometimes I start feeling aversion towards work and parents and expectations. I think you already know the answer to this. I think, and it's maybe worth reminding, but when I was traveling, as you know, recently, and with different people in that, and just trying to give attention to every breath, give attention to the space around, just noticing the neutral. Because the neutral, when it's known, is actually pleasant. So not getting caught and not making more of the fires that are burning around, not adding fuel to the fires. If somebody bumps into you, and you can get really upset with them and get upset with yourself for getting upset because somebody's bumped into you or cut in front of you. And then you can make a whole problem about it, about the whole business, about this. Or you can let it go. And that's the choice. Actually, that's the karma that you're making, because there's a choice there. And every moment, there's a choice. And that choice is your karma. It's your choice for freedom or for more pain. Now that's what you can ask yourself. And before you go into a situation, to prepare yourself, to notice what you would habitually react to, how you'd habitually react, and then say to yourself, let me protect myself from this habitual reaction. I know that this is what I tend to do when I see this person or when I go into this situation. But what can I do to protect myself? What can I notice? What can I give attention to? So that there's some perspective on it. It's in a bigger context. it's what you've been doing at work, turning away from worldly aims and values. It depends how you treat these worldly winds. Is it something that you can say, well, I can offer to do this? This is something that I can see how it works out. I can give something to this. I can aspire to this. I can let the blessings that are possible through this be shared with others. And they won't be my blessings. It'll just be the blessings of this particular job, this particular position, this particular role that I can offer into, so that more blessings can be shared. And that way, if you rise to prime minister or president, then you can offer blessings in that role. No, don't aim small. But you can also offer blessings if you're just the local cleaner. Don't fuss. It's not whatever role you find yourself in. You do what you can. So I feel as long as one lives with family and work, there's no possibility for structuring and structuring. I think that there are some people who live very worldly lives that are absolutely fine and suffer less than many people who pretend they're running away. Sorry, I don't see that a particular tool can't be used wisely in a particular place. If you identify with any of it, you're going to make problems for yourself. So, but yes, the vinaya here has made it easier for the people who are living here. We've had a change from this year to the next of 6 people out of 9, and still the place works reasonably harmoniously because of the vinaya. Because there is actually an agreement that this is the structure that we will use. Where there's no agreement, it is maybe more difficult. So you have to work on your internal vinaya. Yes, similar vimokkha. Vimokkha is freedom. Mokkha. Viraga is without fire. It's where it's cool. Umpatinissa is letting go. So there's vimokkha is freedom. It's actually like muti, vimutti. Mokkha is the same. Raga is the fire of passion. Viraga is that without the sense of the heat that you put into the moment of feeling, I really want this, or I really don't want this. And relinquishment is the letting go. Then relinquishment is it's more like it's setting free almost. It's like opening, and then the thing can just go its own way. It's no longer trying to steer it, manipulate it, or get upset about it. And then Analio is not making a problem about it. So thank you all for your kind attention. And if there are no more questions, then any more questions? Okay.